Are you interceding for others? Welcome to Seeking God with Leah Klein, Health and Wholeness Coach. And our verse for today is the last one in Ephesians 6, Ephesians 6:18b. If you haven't watched all of our Ephesians 6 ones on the armor of God, back up to about the beginning of February. But 6:18b today. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints. Keep alert, press on. We're called to go forward, to press into God and press into the assignment He has given us, to keep praying as we have been talking about. And this is a continuation of what we talked about last week, in that, we're supposed to be praying, we're supposed to be in conversation with God, which also involves being quiet and letting Him speak and being quiet enough to hear Him. But it's also talking about making supplication, or that's just a fancy way of saying requests, for all the saints. So you're supposed to be interceding for other people. I know this isn't always an easy thing for me or for you to do. It's something that takes discipline to do it on a consistent basis. How many times have you said, "Oh, I'll pray for you," and then you completely forgot? Or is that just me? Yeah. The best thing to do is actually, in that moment, if they can't, pray for them right then it will at least have happened once, if not more. But we are called, as this verse tells us, to intercede for others, to go to God with other people's requests, not just our own. And part of this is taking the focus off of our situation, our circumstances, and actually seeing things from another person's perspective, seeing where they're at, and being, a lot less selfish in our prayer life. And not that we don't pray for ourselves, we do, but we also need to be, praying for others and how we impact others. So I want to encourage you to, many churches have a prayer chain, or they also have a prayer list of specific requests each week. And I encourage you to use that as a tool for knowing what to pray for. There is power in consistency and praying, and then you get to have an even better praise report when God changes things and God comes through in amazing ways. And while it's not guaranteed that He'll come through the way we want Him to come through, but sometimes God's healing is permanent healing, as in they've gone to be with Him. And while it seems, cliche to say it, they are literally in a better place than we are. And it's hard for us to take that in. It's hard for us to accept that, even though we know that now there's no pain, there's no lack of sleep and sleep deprivation, all of these things that these people experienced in life, they got the ultimate healing. And so while we would rather, see physical healing and, have them with us, we know that God is using those things. He's using those in your life to grow you, to change you to be more like Him. So ask God to strengthen your prayer life. Find, some people to pray for. Find a prayer list or a prayer chain. We have texts that go out regularly from our church that are prayer requests of what's going on. Plus, there's a section in the bulletin that lists, specific prayer requests. So use that as a tool to focus on others. And as I mentioned last time, go to God with praise, thanksgiving, glorify Him. Ideally first, then make your case. And if you're having trouble hearing God speak to you, let me show you why that may be happening and how to connect more deeply with my free book, Seeking God, Becoming Mary in a Martha World. And the address to get that free book is healthturnaroundcoaching.com/seeking-God. And if you know how to do a retreat, you've read the book, you've seen the parts where it talks about how to get alone with God in His creation, I encourage you, reach out to me and we'll talk about how you can make a retreat actually happen instead of thinking, well, that would be nice, but never actually doing it. So I'm going to wrap up our time with what's called the CARES Chorus. And you probably may know this. If you don't, feel free to just listen. If not, if you do know it, feel free to sing along. I cast all my cares upon you. I lay all of my burdens down at your feet. And anytime I don't know what to do, I will just cast all my cares upon you. I cast all my cares upon you. I lay all of my burdens down at your feet. And anytime I don't know what to do, I just cast all my cares upon you. And I will see you next week with another verse.